And he quit a few years ago because he said he couldn't be around the un-American, anti-free market, you didn't build it garbage. And he said, look, I can't tell you what I saw behind the scenes, but it's worse than you know. And that article that we put out last week with the video of him talking about it went viral via drudgereport.com. And we're on the great site Drudge all the time, but I mean, this thing went viral. 3 million readers on our article alone. It got syndicated everywhere. No way of knowing how many. It really touched a nerve with people. Obama's Secret Service agent, it's worse than people know, and I'm not trying to scare you. We only got 10 minutes with him because he's in a gear up for his book about to come out, but he's on for like an hour when it does come out in a few weeks. Dan Bongino, Bongino.com. He's running, obviously, for higher office. We'll tell you about that briefly, but in the time we've got, come on, tell us. I mean, I know you're already getting threats. You're getting your office broken into. Stuff's going on. I think not telling us is going to put you in more danger than telling us. What is it that's so horrible, that's worse than we know, worse than we think at the White House? You were the head guy that ran his foreign trips. We know that's the most important position in the Secret Service because that's seen as the most dangerous, is when the president goes overseas. I mean, tell us who Obama really is. We've got Harry Lennox coming out saying he's basically an actor and that he secretly trained him 18 years ago. Dan Bongino, what's really going on here?
Well, here's the deal, Alex. You even have new things coming out with the financial monitoring, which we're seeing today with the agency, the CIA, with financial transactions overseas. So think of the picture right now, the government, this big government mentality, big government president. They now have your emails, allegedly just the subject and headers and the to and from, which I strongly would debate. They now have consumer financial data from any transactions you may have made overseas, and the consumer financial relations board right now, they're internally, they're developing a whole profile of credit card company data as well. So we're getting into this society right now, the surveillance society, where, as I said on that clip, which got something like, I think even the YouTube got 400,000+ views, you're in a society now where your life is really no longer your life. It's your life, which is available for public consumption at the government's behest. They have the key to your personal and private life, which I find really frightening. And when I said worse than you know, that's exactly what I meant, because here's what's really bothersome about this whole thing, Alex. It really doesn't seem that anybody's really that disturbed about it, besides, folks in the libertarian, I think, wing of the party that, that are raising the flag here. But, like I said, last time I was on the show, I had a bunch of your listeners jump on and follow me, and they're really active, and they're really getting involved and saying we want answers. And
well, specifically, I talked to a Secret Service agent, and this is pretty unbelievable, but it's true. I don't even like saying this but I mean, he didn't give me anything secret. He just said, keep doing what you're doing. It's horrible. Almost all of us are freaked out. It's unbelievable. Obama is basically worse than you're even saying. I heard this about a year ago, and then from another Secret Service agent through another person I know. And I mean, they wouldn't even talk to me except through somebody else's phone.
Right.
And then one of them passed a message on to me, and they said, look, you're right, it's bad. I mean, what's going on? I mean, we know Hillary had, like, crack pipes on the Christmas tree back in the 90s and like, Mao Zedong. We know 7 of the czars publicly praised Mao Zedong, the greatest mass murderer in history. Tell us, like, you said you had to quit. It was so horrible, but you can't tell us. I mean, tell us what Obama's like.
Well, listen, I don't want to get into his personal stuff because it would be inappropriate. I mean, it did take an oath, but I feel the need to sound the siren here because, the Secret Service, there was some hack on the Republican side. Of course, a lot of the establishment folks tend to come after me as well. That took a shot at me and my book, Life Inside the Bubble. He took a shot at me, basically saying that, you shouldn't do that because then the Secret Service and it'll damage the sensitive relationship between the Secret Service and the president. Alex, when I say worse than you know, this fog of scandals encompassing just about every cabinet agency, whether it's EPA, the HHS, DOJ, they're all encompassed by scandals. I don't have time to go into each and every one of them. Most of them are public. But even look at something like the Secret Service. They were used as some kind of a pawn in this shutting down the White House to White House tours. And you may say, oh, well, that's an insignificant thing. They just blame the Secret Service. We all inside knew it wasn't true. He just looked for an excuse. But what's to say later on that, he doesn't say to the Secret Service guys, something to the effect of, hey, listen, I want those guys, arrested for protesting or something. And they feel the need to, somehow comply. I mean, we can't go forward in a society where we're not bedrocked in some sense of constitutional law. You know, law by discretion and rule by discretion is no rule at all. It's monarchy. I mean, it's almost near anarchy at some point. So we can't have this. It's the responsibility of people like me, I believe, to speak out. Some may disagree, and that's fine, but
sure.
I'm not going to get buried 6 feet deep knowing I was part of the problem.
Sure. Dan, I don't want to know about Obama's boyfriends. What I want to know about is you said basically the anti-American, you didn't build it, socialist commie stuff. And I know you've sworn an oath and made agreements and stuff, you know, to not spill the beans on what went on inside. But there's a reason they're breaking into your office and threatening you and following your family around and stuff. They're scared of what you know. And so, I mean, it's almost dangerous for me to be here pushing you to say anything. But, I mean, what else can you tell us when you say it's worse than we know? I mean, I know Secret Service agents went public against Clinton and then even got photos out of the Mao Zedong on the Christmas tree and the crack pipes. I mean, what type of weirdos hang crack pipes and communist leaders on the Christmas tree? These are screwballs.
Well, they're surrounded by, as I said on another show, these acolytes that don't want to tell him he's doing anything wrong. And they don't want to speak up and say, you know, sir, maybe this isn't right, that we handle this. And surrounding yourself with figures that view you as like some kind of messianic figure is really troublesome. I mean, that's the kind of thing we see in you know, third world countries with these leaders. So no one wants to kind of stop the runaway train right now. The only thing we have going for us is you know, sadly, political approval ratings right now are so bad. His power is almost being taken away, his de facto power, by the minute. But the administration, and I couldn't contribute to it anymore. And I was very careful to not hurt him personally with any you know, deeply insider information. And that's what bothered me so much about some of the criticism. You know, this could have been an easy get-rich scheme, you know, Alex, and I chose not to, you know, to uphold some sense of dignity with the office. And I don't think they've treated me the same way in return. I mean, I even waited to get office detail to leave the job just to not cause any unnecessary controversy. I've been very delicate with the whole issue, and I really...
So they should leave you alone and not follow you around and make threats and break in your office?
Yeah, I mean, but there's nothing I've done unethically or anything like that. I mean, I'm running because I really feel like there's a very deep problem where there's like, we are literally in a constitutional crisis right now where the president just ignores his own fiat, and
sure.
It doesn't seem like anybody's saying anything. I mean, where are you hearing it?
But what is it that being around him freaks out Secret Service so bad?
It's more this, it's not, it doesn't seem to me like anybody is willing to say, you know, like the Clinton administration, where at one point he had, you know, Dick Morris telling him...
But is he like the devil? I mean, we see flies coming out of his mouth. What has Secret Service agents literally running the other direction through the wall like a Looney Tunes character?
Well, again, only so I know. I think it's great. No, there's none of that stuff.
I'm joking. It's a joke.
Yeah,
it's a joke.
I know.
Well, Dan, let me ask you these questions. We have an article up on Infowars.com. Obamacare fix affirms Obama is absolute dictator with power to change laws as he pleases. Even the former head of the DNC has come out and said that this is dictator behavior. How can he now claim his own law? He'll decide what to enforce and not to enforce.